Hello everyone and welcome to 1v1 with Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, Celeste Roberts of Nintendo Pow Block and Another Zelda podcast. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing two creators. We're missing one of the WASD and Beyond podcast. So today we have Nick.
How's it going, everybody?
And Evan.
Howdy, y'all.
And we're missing Matt, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Matt's constantly busy right now, so.
Oh, well, thank you both so much for doing this 1v1. Y'all put a lot of work into your podcast, and I thought it'd be kind of cool for people to get to know you guys a little bit better.
Oh, absolutely. We appreciate you guys all seeing the hard work we try to put into it.
Yeah.
So.
I love the theme song. I get really excited whenever I listen to it.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine named Jordan DeZorbo, who, forget what he goes by on Twitch, D-Tune on Twitch. He recorded my old band when I was doing that way back when, and I hit him up and he made the theme song really quick, and I was like, all right, yeah, perfect. So that's how that came to be.
I really like it. It's fun, and I don't know. It reminds me of childhood. That sound from the early 90s, late 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a bit misleading because once you actually get into the content of our podcast and like the immediate vulgarity of what happens on our podcast, so it's a bit misleading, but it's still fun. Yeah, I agree with that.
I love it. Well, so what can you tell us about WASD and Beyond podcast? So for people who have never heard of it, what is it about?
Yeah, so it's just a couple. It's obviously Evan, myself, and Matt, and it's just us bantering what we like, dislike about video games. It's just a general discussion, basically. I mean, we'll pick a topic for the week, and we don't necessarily write notes on anything. We'll do some research if we need to, but it's just a general conversation between a couple buddies on our, like I said, like what we like about some video games, what we don't like. It'll just usually go off the rails halfway through the episode.
That's an understatement, but yeah.
Which is an understatement. But yeah, it's just a couple buddies just talking about video games.
It's very off the cuff, which is fun and refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we tend not to like have notes or any structure to the episodes. Obviously, like it's, hey, if we're going to talk about a topic, let's try to stick to the topic and tackle that topic. But for us, it feels like if we were to sit and write notes and like dialogue notes and all that, it wouldn't feel the same.
Yeah, it kind of feels a little too strict, probably restraining, I would imagine.
Yeah, a bit robotic.
Yeah. Well, since it's about video games primarily. So what are some of your earliest memories of video games personally? We're going to take it way back.
Do you want to hit that first, Evan?
Sure. I think the first game I ever played was Ratchet and Clank when I was like 3.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad had me play that, and then it went from that to Sly Cooper, and then I think from that I made a really big jump and I went to Resident Evil 4.
That's a different genre from the first two.
was not prepared for it. But I've been, ever since like I was first introduced to probably Sly Cooper, I was interested in games and everything about him. And then from there I still love story games. Those are my favorite thing to play and relax. But usually when I'm playing with Nick and the guys and stuff like that, it's usually shooters and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah.
Awesome.
For me, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast, or I've had to have, but I walked in on my Uncle Keith playing Doom on a super old computer when I was very young, and just like watching how it was being played, I was like, wow, this is what is this? So from watching the original Doom being played up and then I could like kind of like get into video games. I remember seeing him play like American McGee's Alice and Tomb Raider. So those games were really what like pushed me into gaming, and my earliest memories of games were Doom, American McGee's Alice, and Tomb Raider. It just hooked me right there.
I feel like I know Uncle Keith because I've heard him mentioned on the podcast and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's great.
He still plays games?
Oh yeah, he's just a typical old dude who, sorry dude, but you are old, who just never let go of gaming. He just chills and does his own thing in games all day when he's not working, that is. So
It's hard to find time sometimes to play games.
well, right now with everything going on for him, he's in the music industry, so
Oh,
his
wow.
place of business is closed due to COVID. So that's all he does. I'm not going to say exactly what he gets into, but video games is definitely one of the things he enjoys.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me about him.
Yeah, he's cool.
Oh, it's been a rough year for so many industries, and I think there's so many industries that have been affected people don't really think about
Yeah.
at the forefront.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the game industry especially. I mean, we've talked about it on our show, but people are complaining about like Cyberpunk delays and this delay and that delay, and it's like,
The
well, you get
consoles
the
not
consoles
being
and everything.
available. Yeah.
It's like, well, manufacturing is being hit pretty hard. Um, a lot of devs are working from home, so you don't got that close environment where I'm sure they all can work together and feed off each other. And if someone's having an issue with something, that they can go to the dude next to them and go, "Hey, I need help with this," and
Hmm.
they're able to get things done faster. And people aren't taking a lot of that into consideration, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if they have young children or a partner, and
Right?
what if their kids are being homeschooled right now?
It's
Personally,
insanity.
I don't get upset whenever games or anything get delayed because I think it was Shigeru Miyamoto who said something like, "You will never forget a good game that took a while to make,
Right?
but people will always remember a bad game that was
Oh, absolutely,
rushed."
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and these people have lives too, man.
Right.
Well, do you guys have any favorite moments in video game history in your lifetime that you recall, whether that's an event in a video game, a commercial, a movie, an event at E3, just anything you can remember?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, and I guess this is like my own event, and I'll bring it up because I bring it up everywhere, and it doesn't matter what show I'm on or what if it's our show. Loading up Half-Life 2 for the first time.
There we go.
Yeah, see, I was
Really?
gonna drop it, but I played the first Half-Life, and that was a big deal to me. And then loading up Half-Life 2 on my PC, I got it for Easter, and I just threw the disc in to install back when optical drives were a thing. They're phased out now, but whatever. Um, and just loading that game up for the first time and just seeing everything pop out at you, and I was like, whoa. And from right then and there, I became a huge Half-Life fan, and that was a very uh, big game changer and defining moment for me in video games. Not only like I brought up earlier about my Uncle Keith and those games, but when I first played Half-Life 2, that was a huge event for me.
Is there anything in particular about it? Was it the music, the atmosphere, the graphics?
It was just, yeah, just everything. I think the graphics, especially back then, because you can still look at Half-Life 2, and it's obviously like it's not as pretty as it could be anymore. But back then, loading that game up, and I was like, just looking at everything, I was like, whoa, like this dystopian world filled with, the Combine soldiers who've taken over this, the world pretty much, and just like the story and silent protagonist Gordon Freeman, it just all hooked me. And being able to relive that in a different setting with Half-Life 2, opposed to the first one where you're in Black Mesa, so you wake up on a train going to City 17, and it just threw me through a loop, and it was just a huge ordeal to me. And I was like, "Whoa, this is the greatest thing ever!" To me, it still is.
Those
Yeah.
are such treasured moments.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I have so many that it's hard to nail down just one. I think like recently in just the past 10 years, a defining moment for me in video game history was I've played a lot of different story games. For instance, a lot of the Call of Duty games, I mainly play the campaign first just because I like the story that they can make. I like GTA 4. That was a pretty decent story. GTA 5 wasn't bad. But I think when I was 13, I played the original Last of Us. And I think that's what was a defining moment for me, just playing that whole game. There were moments in the game more specifically, which are very, like, some people might not even remember them just because it's been so long, but like finding the two brothers that you like pair up with throughout a portion of the game, that was really defining, and what happens with them. Just the relationship between and Ellie being, a younger girl and him being like a father figure, and how that kind of grows. that was surprising to me because a lot of the time you see a story like that that's in a TV show or a movie. It's very like specific to that sort of medium. But being able to play as Joel and having to actually physically move and rush over and help Ellie if she's getting hurt or something like that, I thought that was really interesting. And the dialogue's well written. There's subtle moments in both the first game and the second game because Nick knows I mention it all the time. I can't not. But there's so many subtle moments where these pieces connect. And I think that really was defining for me. I was like, wow, video games can be art just as much as any really great movie can be. And I'd like to see more games be made. I think Cyberpunk is going to be that way for a lot of people. Yeah.
Did you guys see, I don't know if it was on Twitter or Reddit, somebody said they had put in like 175 hours into Cyberpunk and they still weren't done.
Yeah, I think it was one of the developers actually saying that he was playing the game for around 175 hours and he still hasn't completed the game, which is fantastic for everybody, given all the delays and given all the setbacks. It should give people an expectation of what they're about to purchase. Like $60 is going to get you this story that you could do 3 times and it's going to feel fresh each time you play. So, I mean, yeah, I'm super. Our next few episodes are all Cyberpunk based.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We're doing the lead up. We're going to be doing like the lead up into Cyberpunk expectations, and then we're going to play the game and kind of talk about what we've played and all that. So
what we've seen, yeah,
we're super stoked.
This discussion is making me think. So, have you ever played a game? And I'm sure the answer is yes. But have you ever played a game where you thought to yourself, "Oh gosh, no other medium would suffice. A movie would not convey the story as well. A TV show, a book."
Oh yeah, plenty.
Yep.
Fallout, in my opinion, even though I know they are doing a TV series, I feel like the Fallout universe and even Elder Scrolls would be because it's all you. It's all about you. Like you are that character. The choices you make are because that's what you wanted to do, right? So for them to try to transition into TV or movies, I feel like it'd be difficult because like you're taking a back seat instead of going, well, I want to go here and do this, therefore this happens. In a movie, like a Fallout movie or a TV series, like I said, you'd just be watching events happen, and I feel like that would take away from those franchises, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of walking simulators I enjoy that I can't picture, like What Remains of Edith Finch. I cannot picture that being played any other or conveyed, the story told any other way.
Right.
Well, how did you guys all meet? And you can talk about Matt as well if you'd like, even though he's not here.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to start that off, or do you want me to start that one off, Evan?
I met Nick through his little brother Julian, who was in a grade above me in high school. And a couple of years, I think it was actually maybe my senior year or something like that, Julian invited me to the Discord server with Nick and them, and I just ended up hanging around. I just was like, at first I came in here and there and played PUBG with you guys for a bit. Yeah, and then PUBG. After it was, I just came in there. It was a normal, like, that's where I went instead of talking to the other people I had talked to, because they started, the two buddies that I typically talked to, they weren't always around or on as much. They were busy. So, I just went in there because I saw Matt in there, I saw Nick in there, or Julian or Chad. So I would just go in there and hang out, and now I ended up here.
Right.
They kidnapped you.
Yeah, really. I don't know how I ended up here.
So I met Matt through an old friend of ours, and Matt and I started hanging out a lot more. We all would sit in this dude's basement and just play video games all day. That's what we did. We just sit and play video games, whether it was Call of Duty, Skyrim, Smash Bros, or me on a computer playing DayZ. That's just what we would do. Flash forward to a couple years ago, we make a Discord, and Matt and I had always been talking about doing a podcast. It was a while in the making before we actually started it, but yeah, we made a Discord. Like Evan said, he hopped in with my little brother, and we started playing PUBG together, and it just evolved from there. And then now all three of us are hosting this podcast. That's awesome.
That's so great. I love how passionate you guys are, and it's really fun to listen to you guys because I can tell you're having a good time, and you pick on one another.
Yes, we
Oh,
do.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I think that's how you show somebody you care about them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that and if one of us is a little more drunk than the other, it becomes it's a whole awesome thing leading up to the podcast. There's a whole we'll be in our Discord and we'll all be making fun of each other. We'll hop into like what we hop into to record. So the roasting would already be starting, and then we start recording, and it just keeps going, and it's just that much funnier to us.
Yeah, warmed up and ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what made you? So it was you and Matt, right, Nick? You
Yeah.
two decided to start a podcast. And how old is the podcast? You want to talk about the history of it?
Yeah, so the podcast now is a year old, and which is cool. And I totally forgot that we hit our year mark, and I had to post like a few days late on Twitter. I was like, "Oh, by the way, it's a year old now." Matt, like I said, Matt and I had been talking about creating a podcast for a long time, and one day I was just like, "Dude, let's just do it. What else? We have nothing else going on." And this was before my son was born, and it was just kind of like, all right, cool, let's do this. We tried recording in person, that didn't work, and then I found Zen. Well, my buddy Yoder sent me Zencaster. It was like, try this website out. So we've been recording remotely, and just from there, it's like been a lot easier to create schedules because it's like, okay, well, I'll meet you on this time, and then out of nowhere, I was like, well, let's get like another host because it'll be easier. Like if one of us is having a problem that week, we can have the host in. It'll still be two of us talking. And then I was like, all right, cool. Evan, because I know Evan likes to talk.
Oh, thanks.
You do. What? That's not a bad thing.
No,
But no,
it's not.
I don't ramble, I promise.
I don't know. Last of Us 2 get you going, dude.
That was a long episode.
But yeah, no. So we just decided on Evan, and luckily Evan's here because it's been him and I primarily, with Matt going through what he's going through and as busy as he is. So yeah, it's a bit of the history of it. I'm just glad we actually stuck to something because usually it'll be like, yeah, let's do this. And then it's like, all right, throw that to the wayside. We'll try something else.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what is the meaning behind the podcast name? How did you come up with it?
Yeah, so WASD is like the main movements on a keyboard for PC gaming, and we primarily play on PC. Evan's got consoles behind him. He's got an Xbox Series X and a PS5. I got my Xbox Series X upstairs, and my other consoles I do play on here and there, but we are primarily PC players. So I was like, all right, cool, like WASD. And then I was trying to think of like, all right, what else? And I was like, oh, well, I don't want to just talk about video games. Like I'd like to talk about movies and like certain animes that I do like, or books or music. And I was like, all right, well, Beyond. I was just kind of like, and Matt was like, yeah, that's cool. I was like, all right, WASD and Beyond. That'll work. It's kind of one of those things where like, yeah, just go for it. Let's see if it sticks. And luckily it did.
I'm not gonna say how long it took me to realize the WASD part. It's an embarrassingly long time.
I'm sure you're not the only person. That people are like WASD. And I was like, no, it's WASD. And if you look at, I've had to explain to a few people like, no, look at your keyboard and put your fingers down where you would normally move. And they're like, oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think I've been listening to you guys for about a year. It was after I found the Loser podcast.
Yeah, JD.
He's another friend of yours.
Yep. Yeah, he lives not down the street, but a couple cities over from me. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's awesome. I'm gonna have him on here too.
Oh, awesome.
At some point.
Yeah. He's fun.
Yeah. And I think just through Twitter. Twitter is really just all I use that, and Instagram. I actually deactivated Facebook. I don't use Facebook.
Oh, I'm not on Facebook. Evan's not on any social medias, so I deal with social media.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything from what I remember.
I hear it anyway on the news. I hear something on Twitter anyway, so it doesn't even matter. I get the news.
Yeah. So thank you for explaining that. That's a cool. I was like, is it their initials somehow? Is it code or something?
Secret society code.
Yeah, it's right out there.
Well, since you mentioned you guys talk about other things. What are some of your favorite movies? Is there a certain genre? Do you just like anything if it's good?
So I'm primarily a horror movie fan. Evan, if you want to hit it, because like we're both film buffs, but Evan is like a huge film buff.
It's not even that I'm necessarily a film buff. It's
Yes,
just
you are.
that whatever. I took one film class. I'm not going to say anything other than that. But
I do. Film
yeah, no. I mean, I didn't learn much about it, but I like anything if it's good. If it's got a good story, if there are specific actors that I like, I'll watch it. I mainly like, in terms of like, if just I had to pick a favorite in terms of people who direct, I mean, I like Martin Scorsese, I like Quentin Tarantino, and like, but the thing is that like I could watch those, and then in the next I could watch. I mean, Trial of the Chicago 7 was directed by Aaron Sorkin, who I'm a huge fan of, just his TV shows and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I'll basically watch anything if it's good. I'm particularly not into scary movies like Nick is, though. I really don't like them. I don't get with them. I don't watch a lot of animated stuff. But that doesn't mean I can't be convinced to watch it. I'm pretty open to things unless I just really don't find it interesting or I just don't like something about it. But yeah, I'm pretty open to watching most different types of movies.
Now, I think one of the first times you hung out with me, I was explaining the story of the Halloween party, right?
I think were.
How I got those kids to leave.
Yeah.
Sidetrack. Basically, I had a huge Halloween party when I was in a band at the townhome I was living in, which is not a good idea because there's over 100 kids there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it sucked. So I was done with it. I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, I'm way too drunk. My fiance's upstairs in our bedroom, super mad. Like, Perry was like super mad. She's like, dude, this sucks. And I'm like, yeah, it does suck. And these kids were like toting that they love gore films and all this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I got the perfect film. And it's a movie called American Guinea Pig, Bouquet of Blood and Guts.
Oh, Evan's face.
Yeah, it's like if you took Hostel and Saw and injected it with steroids, that's what it is. It's like it's literally just a gore film. And
he didn't even show me the movie. He showed me the trailer and I left. I didn't even stay at your house after that. I was like, I'm going home. I don't want to talk to you.
Well, these kids were just sitting on my couch and I was like, here, check this out. And they're like, ugh. And they just all got up and left because I had advertised it as a snuff film. I was like, yeah, this is like a real snuff film. And they're like, what is that? I'm like, why don't you check it out? And they're like, no, we're leaving. You're weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes.
But it's not. It's not
a snuff.
It's fake to be one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what. Can you explain to me what a snuff film is?
A snuff film. They're hard to get because of the nature of them, but it's
gotcha.
like real murder put on like a DVD, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not something you want to watch.
Like forbidden.
Yeah.
Content.
Super illegal content that you're not like a DVD could cost like $1,000 pretty much for like a real snuff film. They're not good. Like
I say it's not very common either to find things like that, especially now, just because everything is digital. It's like, yeah, you're not going to go out and you can fake it. And you're not going to go out and buy a DVD.
So like, yeah,
where are you going to put it? You can't play it anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I told them that it was an actual snuff film. And they're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to watch this. I'm like, yeah, I bet you can't. And then they couldn't sit through it. I'm like, you could tell, like there's scenes like in the movie where like there'll be a hand like on like a table and they'll take a hammer and smash it. But like if you if you look, it's like hot dogs.
Oh, if you pay attention, it's not.
Yeah, if you really look, like I was like, oh, that's a hot dog with like jelly in it. I was like, that's stupid. I'm like, I saw it, but these kids were like getting up by like the 10s and going, nope, and just out the door.
They were probably under the influence of some things and were just
I'm assuming so. I was just happy to get rid of those kids out of my house or my townhome.
It worked.
It did. They left.
Don't feel bad, Nick. I have stories of having more people than can fit into my apartment.
Yeah.
When I was younger. And now, even though I have the room, if I wanted more people, I don't ask people to come over.
No, I think the only people I have come over really realistically is like Evan, Matt, and my brothers. And that's it. Like I have no desire to party like that anymore. And like when we drink, we'll just have like a Jack and Coke or like a couple beers and just sit around a fire and talk exactly how we talk on the podcast. So it never ends.
You say Jack and Coke. Here's a very easy Halloween costume if you're dressing up with someone like either your fiance or a friend. Someone wears a Jack Daniel's shirt. Someone wears a Coca-Cola shirt. You're Jack and Coke.
Good idea.
That's
Nick, we
cheap
should
and
do that.
easy, yeah.
Yeah, we
I'll
should
do
do
Super
that.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Super easy. You don't have to get all
No
gussied
makeup
up.
or anything.
So what about anime? That is something I used to love so much when I was like in the Toonami days, and I
Oh,
haven't kept up with it. Do you guys want to talk about any favorite anime?
So
That is you.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, I'm not like a super huge anime guy, but I do love the animated movie Akira because I do like the manga.
I
Akira.
see your
The box
It's
set.
Pretty hard to miss.
I'm a big Akira fan, and Cowboy Bebop because I saw that on Toonami. Trigun, another Toonami show
Yeah.
that I saw on Toonami rather. So I mean that's like the extent of my anime where it's like I'll watch certain things here and there like Mob Psycho, and I'll try to get into it, and I usually get distracted by other things, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I mean I do dabble here and there in anime enough to talk about it sometimes on the podcast.
Yeah, I think, well, I guess you could say this about anything. There are so many games, there's so many books, there's so many movies, there are so many anime series. I can't keep up.
Oh yeah, like One Piece, it's like 1 million episodes pretty much nowadays. It's like I'm not even gonna try. Not 1 million, but you know what I'm saying. It's too many.
Wasn't that the case with Inuyasha? Or
Um,
isn't that the case with Inuyasha? Weren't there a
there's
lot? Aren't
there
there?
are a lot of episodes of Inuyasha, so if you like didn't start back then, like to try to hop in now, I don't think it's being produced anymore, but I don't know how long it would take you to watch that entire series at all.
Gosh, I really enjoyed the days of middle school, junior high, of coming home, and I'd have my little shows all selected for me, like Tenchi Muyo, All Star,
Oh
Gundam
yeah.
Wing, and then you go do your homework or whatever. But
Oh yeah.
it's overwhelming sometimes, all these choices of anything, really. Sometimes I'll spend time just looking through my eShop on my Switch,
Yeah.
and I feel just overwhelmed, or Game Pass
Yeah.
on my
There's
Xbox.
so much of everything out there now, literally at the click of a remote. So it's insane.
Are you guys able to play games as much as you did when you were younger? Is it kind of a precious time now?
Yeah, you go first on this one, Evan.
It doesn't feel any different.
For you.
Yeah, I'm currently in college right now, but since we're all doing everything online, I'm still here, so I can be doing work on one monitor and playing a game on the other, that kind of thing. So it doesn't feel that different. In terms of back then when I was a kid, though, I played console games and stuff like that, and it's like now, particularly, I'd like to play certain console games that I don't have the time to do just because my dad works right behind me and all the consoles are there, so it's like I'm not going to get in his way. So like I kind of have to wait till he's out of town and then I'll play him or whatever and stuff like that. But it's usually the same. I mean, probably not a good thing. I should probably not be playing games as much because school's important. But yeah, I mean, feels the same.
Yeah, for me, for a while there, I was not as much because when Landon was first born, I was just so busy, trying to tools and all of that with him. But now that he's getting a little older, it's like, all right, whatever. Like, I moved it, but I have like a pack and play like right in my area, so like I'll just put him in his pack and play, and let him do his own little thing while I'm with the guys playing video games and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm getting back into playing video games as much as I used to, which is a good and bad thing. But it changed for a while, and now it's going back to normal. Where I'll just think like, I don't know, a couple hours a night in, and when Cyberpunk comes out, all bets are off though. That's it.
Does your fiance play games too?
Yeah, she plays primarily on a Switch, and she plays a lot of like Zelda, Animal Crossing. I can't get her off that at all. That's like her crack right now. Well, it's been since the game first came out.
March. Yeah, March.
Well, even like when the prior games were out,
like the original ones. Yeah,
she's been a huge Animal Crossing fan. Skyrim. She loves the Elder Scrolls series. So yeah, she sinks her time in as well when she's able to.
I'm jealous, Evan. I remember those days, those college days.
Yeah.
Well, what are some games that you guys really love? Is there a genre that you gravitate towards?
Hit it, Evan.
Uh, well,
Ready for a dissertation?
no.
Yes. Go for it.
In terms of genre, I like playing shooters. I like playing, Overwatch and COD and Battlefield and stuff like that. Those are fun to play, like almost as just, I'm bored. I don't know what else to do. This is what I'll do. But if I want to play something that I actually will truly enjoy, or like I want to sink my time and emotions into, I play story games. I play Uncharted was a big franchise for me. I started with 2, I played 3, and then 4 was amazing. I don't remember a lot of people saying that, but I liked it. I thought they did a really good job. Naughty Dog, to me, has just been a great company when I've played their games. Obviously, The Last of Us 1 made a huge impact on me. So when the second one came out, I have like, what, Nick? I got 4 or 5 different Last of Us shirts that I wear in a row during a week. I have merch. I have a Ellie statue, all that kind of stuff. I love all that. That game to me was kind of like, people go, well, can you make video games art? Show them that game. And be like, yeah, you can. You can really make people feel a certain type of way with that. And I think that shows for a lot of games. Like Cyberpunk, I think, is going to do that for me, especially. I'm excited for it. But in terms of a genre more than just story, it's like I want something this is going to sound bad, but like not necessarily happy. I want there to be a struggle for the characters in some way. I want it to be a bit dark, because with movies you can do that. With TV shows and movies, you can make it a little bit lighter and it's, a bit more comedic. Whereas I think games can really take it into a darker place and say like, yeah, we can do this because it's a game and people are playing it and it's a different medium for people. So, like I said, Last of Us 2 is a very dark game that I love. And I think your brother, Nick Lucas, said it best, where it's like, it's a great game, but it's not a game where you can just go, I got home from school, I want to load this game up and play it for a bit. You really have to put yourself in the mindset to be like, yeah, I'm going to have a bad time.
It's so draining. That game is draining, dude.
I played it just the other day on the PS5, and I got through that first intro bit, and I was like, you know what? I wanted to play more. I wanted to play for like another 2 hours, but I can't do it. I got to stop.
We're setting
So
it
it's
down.
emotionally draining?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a game? I haven't played it, but is it one of those games where your choices affect the ending, kind of?
That's what a lot of people don't like, is that you don't have that option.
Oh.
You have to
just in this game, if you had that option, a lot of the stuff that happens may not have happened. That's why people are so bummed. Yeah.
Which is, we talked about it when my first episode, actually. I think we talked about it, but a lot of people were upset because, it's not a game, like, it's not like Fallout where a choice you make impacts others. It's literally you play the game and the characters are already there. They've already made up their mind on what they're going to do. So it's kind of like you have to play as that character and you have to live with their decisions, good or bad, and you have to decide if you still like them or not. So a lot of people didn't like it for that, which, I mean, just looking at the past history of both the first game and the other games that Naughty Dog has made, you've never had a choice. It's always been a story built from the ground up.
Now you're making me think. Do you guys prefer games where the story is laid out like that, or do you like games where you have to make decisions?
I don't know, Nick, what do you think? What do you feel on that?
See, for me, I like both. It just depends what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm in like an adventurous type of mood, I will play something like Fallout or Skyrim, where I'm able to like really decide, okay, I don't really want to do this type of stuff, and I'd rather do this. Like, I want to do hand-to-hand combat, but I also want to be like a mage, so it's like I'll play those games, or I want to be a bandit or whatever, and those are the games I'll gravitate towards. But if I'm looking for like a concrete story, I will play something like The Last of Us Part 2 or Doom Eternal, things like that, or Half-Life even. The choice is already laid out. It's up to you to find those. It's up to you to get through the game, though, whether or not you like what's happening. And that's what I did like about The Last of Us. Like games like The Last of Us 2, it's like you may not like what's happening, but you're going to have to keep playing through to see the resolve. And that's I do enjoy both sides of the field.
Yeah. I got to say I agree with Nick on all of that. I mean, I don't primarily play a lot of those choice-based games where like I like Fallout. I do enjoy the game, but I don't typically go, I want to play that instead of this. If I I have a choice between one of the two, I'm gonna go with a game like The Last of Us Part 2, just because I like to see what other people can create for someone else. So like all those stories are already built, they've already got everything planned, and I think that's a bit better for me because just like movies, I like to see what other people do, and I don't have any decision in it, so I don't feel any personal responsibility on like somebody gets hurt or somebody dies. It's like I didn't make that choice. Like somebody else decided that was going to happen, and I have to go through it and live with it. Nick knows when I got the game, because I got it a couple days late because I got the Ellie edition. I went and I played through the entire game. It took me 4 days to finish it, and never happened before, but there were several moments in the game where I just put the controller down and I called Nick and I was like, I don't want to play anymore. Not because I'm mad, not because I'm upset with the game, but because I don't like what position they're putting me in.
We needed a break.
That never happens. Like I've never felt that where it's like, typically like I'll just blow through the game and I'll be like, oh, that was pretty good. I like that game. I like this, this part and this part. And there were plenty of moments in that where I was like, yeah, I really like this moment. But then there were times where it was just like I had to go and say I can't do this because I'm afraid of what happens next. Right. And I've never particularly felt that in a game before.
What about genres for you, Nick?
Yeah, so for me, it's a lot of like shooters for sure. A lot of shooters. I do like some like RPG-esque video games, but that's mainly my thing. It's definitely a lot of shooters. That's what I grew up playing. That's what I still play now. Yeah, I mean, I don't like games like I said, like Half-Life really like shaped me to be the gamer I am, and like the way my play styles. Like I for Half-Life 2, like you got to think while you play. There's puzzles to a degree. It's all physics-based puzzles, so it's literally like taking a gravity gun, lifting up a cinder block, and putting it onto another piece of wood to lift you up. But
oh wow,
that's type of stuff that's fun for me. Yeah, I'm trying to think more. It's like I primarily we just play shooters, and I play some RPGs. I've been playing a lot of Risk of Rain too lately. Which, it's like a looter. What is roguelite?
Yeah, that's what John said it was. Yeah, I don't play it.
So that's been super fun lately.
Oh, there's so many games out there.
Yeah.
So many genres. If you guys want a game where you have to make decisions, there's one called One Night Stand on Switch.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard of it.
It's like $4, might be even cheaper on sale. And
bad.
you wake up next to a stranger and there are like 12 different outcomes. I haven't unlocked them all, but while she goes to get you some medicine because you say you have a headache, you can look around her room and you see her underwear and you can decide to put on her underwear.
That's
nice.
You don't see anything. It's like
right.
hand drawn. It's like pencil drawn, but it's so funny because she walks back in and she just loses her mind and kicks you out for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are kind of fun, but I do like games where the story is I'm uncovering the story.
Yeah.
My hand is being held to a degree. Well, what games do you dislike? This is where you can rant. Your opinion, you can go off. You can say there's a genre. You can say a particular game you played that just upset you for whatever reason.
I won't play JRPGs. I don't have fun playing JRPGs at all. I don't know what it is. We got this game called, what was it, Black Desert Online?
You guys got that. I did not pick that up because I was like, I do not like it.
I think it's an MMO as well. I don't know, but I didn't have fun with it. I was like, dude, why the hell did I spend this money on this? Usually Call of Duty I won't play, but Modern Warfare was the exception where we all had a good time because I just feel like those games are always they come out at the same time every year. It's the same stuff every year. There had been back then there was issues of just like map copying. So it was like a copy paste with like an extra bit of this or foliage or whatever, and that felt lazy to me. I tried playing Valhalla, and I felt like that game was trash because I haven't been the biggest Assassin's Creed fan in a long time, since probably like the third one.
Yeah.
And those games fell under the same spell that the Call of Duty franchise did, where it's like, let's pump these out every year. Let's just get it out there. Who cares about how the product actually is. Like, we just got to get that out, and that bothers me. And that's what Bethesda does. They don't pump them out every year, but it's just the lack of polish on a lot of games really irks me. And I played Valhalla for like 5 hours, and I was just like, dude, I'm done with this. I can't.
You had bought the game and you hated it?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't buy that game.
Oh,
my little brother
okay.
had an extra key, and he was like, "Here you go." And I was like, "Cool." If I would have bought it, I would have been mad. I would have been like, "Dude, this." I would have been really mad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't have a particular game specifically that I dislike, but I don't like games where I can feel like there was something rushed or where there's obvious things that maybe don't make sense. Or I mean, typically games that I dislike are games that are online, like they're multiplayer, they're shooters and whatnot. I don't have a specific story game that I've played that I don't like, or like there are ones where it's like it's good, but it's not as good as this one. But it's not something where I have an axe to grind with it. But yeah, like certain shooters, like the newest Call of Duty that released, Black Ops Cold War. There's just a couple things in multiplayer where it's like you didn't think about this, or you didn't like playtest enough to figure out issues. Overwatch, which is a game that I played a lot and I do still play from time to time, but there are definite moments where it's just like there's things. It's not necessarily that I'm mad about them. It's more of I'd prefer if they explained what their reasoning was, or if they even explained what it was that what I just saw happen, instead of it being like, as an example, there's an ultimate that a character uses, Lucio, where when he hits the ground, he gives everybody shields, like 1,000 points of shield. And there's another character that when he has his ultimate, he raises people up and then slams them back down. So in my mind, you think that the guy who gives you shield, when he hits the ground, he has to hit the ground to give you those shields. I was playing with a couple buddies, and that didn't happen. He was in the air, used his ultimate in the air, and gave everybody shields, so my ultimate was useless. It's like, I didn't know that was going to happen, because when you look at other characters where that happens, it doesn't work that way.
It nullifies.
So it's balance that they don't explain to people, or there are certain things like one character can deal explosive damage to himself and not hurt himself at all. The other one, she'll kill herself. She hits herself twice with her rockets. Wow. It's like, so it doesn't make sense to me as a player, where it's like, I get that it's balance, I guess, but like it's not consistent, and it's upsetting to play. If, for instance, I have a lot of free time to play games, but I'm not going to devote every hour of my day to playing Overwatch like some people do, which is fine. It's not bad if you want to do that. But for a character or a person like me who doesn't play it all the time, that's kind of upsetting, just because I don't understand what's going on and that kind of thing. And on top of that, I think the only other problem I have with that is that if you don't understand something, there's usually somebody on your team or against you who is going to call you out and call you names for not knowing stuff.
That's immature.
That's not necessarily a problem with the game, but in terms of gaming as a community, it's like there's a lot of people who are like gonna just give you crap for not understanding certain things, and it's like try and assume that these people only have an hour a week to play. That's what I try to assume sometimes, is like, because I think my dad told me that like an average gamer only has an hour a week to play games. So yeah, if Nick didn't play as much as he did or whatever, and then I asked him to play a game with me, I would not give him crap for not understanding stuff, because it's like I understand it, and I understand that you don't play all the time. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of it.
I love that your dad plays games too.
Yeah, he's a big gamer. He likes to play COD. Actually, he's been on every season for Modern Warfare. He's wanted to get to 155. He wanted to get to the highest level, and he's only succeeded, I think, 3 times. There's been 7 seasons. But he plays it. He'll often he'll do work for the day, or some days he won't have any work to do, so he'll just sit down, and I'll come down in the morning. It's like 10:30, and he's already playing COD, and I'm like, man, you get started before even I do. Yeah, he loves games.
I don't understand why people the people you were talking about just get so mad. Is it an ego thing? Like that's how they're insecure, and that's what makes them feel better, is bringing other people down?
Probably.
Yeah,
I'd be willing to bet 99% on that it's an ego thing, and it's like, well, I'm just going to show them I'm better. To which, for me and for Nick and a lot of people, either we just throw crap right back at them, or we just it's just a laughing thing, because it's like you're telling me I'm bad at an online video game that means absolutely nothing to my real world aspirations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you got me.
Or we'll just purposefully at that point throw matches. That's been the highlight. people be acting ridiculous online, and purposefully I'll be all right, fine. Like if you're gonna act like this, then all right, well we'll see who gets the last laugh. And I can be kind of crappy about that, but I'll throw matches or I'll team wipe. Like in Call of Duty, you can get. I bring up Call of Duty because that's what we've been playing lately. Because we haven't really. We're waiting for Cyberpunk. So anyone who's listening is like, all these guys talk about is Call of Duty. Well, listen, it's not that we want to play Call of Duty. We're waiting for Cyberpunk.
We don't want to touch this.
It's passing time.
Yeah.
Until Cyberpunk.
Well, I can't just sit and play DayZ over and over again because I'm done with that game right now.
Sure you can.
But no, I'm not doing it.
You can do what happened last time.
No, dude, I'm not doing it. But like, I'll just take a cruise missile and just drop it on the entire team spawn. It'll immediately evict you from the game, which is hilarious. That's the funniest part to me.
Because they can't yell at you after.
They can't yell at you, but you just wiped a team. It's so funny.
No, I think that's no, Nick doesn't get too crappy about it as much as he says he does. He doesn't really get annoying with it. It's more of if somebody on our team is yelling at someone that we know, it becomes a thing where instead of letting them say it, we're just gonna talk over them the entire time.
Yeah, that's
like we're not gonna I don't think we'd go and deliberately start insulting this person the entire game. It's like, they say one mean thing, we'll say something mean back. And then if they ever talk again for the rest of the game, we just start yelling over them so they can't speak.
It's like usually like a joking. Like we're never the guys who escalates it to the point where it's like, wow, like that didn't need to go there. It's usually like other people in lobbies are going, what the hell is happening? Like,
well, it's just we'll just scream, and that way they can't say anything back. Which can be bad in its own right, but compared to what we've heard other people say to us, I don't consider us that bad.
No, not at all.
Are there certain games or types of games that bring out the worst in people like that?
Yeah, Call of Duty.
That's the most quote unquote toxic, I guess.
The PUBG lobbies were bad when you would load into the game.
Well, that's because you could hear everyone. You could hear 100 people screaming at each other.
Yeah, they used to have the VoIP on, and
which they got rid of.
Which luckily they got rid of because you'd be loading in and all you would just hear is racist comments and just a bunch of stupid stuff. And it's like dude, like chill out. Like there'd be some funny things that would be said, nothing racist because that's not funny to me or Evan. Like it's just like, dude, like that's just ignorant. Like if you have to use racism in your jokes, then it's not really a joke and you've now lost your point.
I see what you're saying though, but
yeah.
Certain moments people will have where they're talking to two other people and it's just some dumb conversation. It can end up being pretty funny just because hearing two other people argue or whatever, like they'll say something stupid to each other and it kind of like makes you laugh just because it's like the absurdity of the conversation. In terms of a really toxic community, COD is one.
Overwatch is pretty bad too, eh?
I have put plenty of hours into Overwatch to know that there is no safe part of that game. Like, there is always going to be somebody who's trash talking you for anything you do. On top of the fact that I've seen you brought up that example, Nick, where it's like in COD, people will insult you. They'll call you names. They might say something racist. They might say something that's just generally like not something you should say. There are times in Overwatch where I have seen not only directed at me, but I have seen people legitimately say terrible things to one another about nothing related. Like somebody will say, "Why'd you play that character? That was a stupid decision." Blah 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 blah. The other guy will respond with like something mean about like something terrible about their mother, and it's like, whoa, it's a game.
Chill out, man.
You're playing a game. Like being like, I'm not saying be super nice to everyone. I'm not saying that, but like have some courtesy to like respect the people you talk to in that, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know. And I've had that moment as well where it's like I said something really mean to someone, and my buddy, not you, Nick, the other Nick we have. Called me out on it, and I changed my tone, and I've never said anything mean again. Like I've said, no, I'll take that back. I've said some mean things, but I've never said anything truly mean to like hurt someone. I've never done that after. But like, it's just an experience where it's like I'm playing a game where like there's like Winston is a monkey who throws a shield and electrocutes you, and I'm being told like something terrible by some other guy, and it's just like, is that really worth your time and effort? Like to sit through that. So Overwatch is probably, if you ask me what is the most toxic game I've played, I'd say Overwatch without a doubt, like 100%.
I haven't played in online communities before, but I've heard that we ladies can experience some pretty rough scenarios.
Yeah, yes. It's super lame. because to me that's a lot of dudes gatekeeping women out of gaming. And as soon as like somebody will find out like a chick is streaming, it's like, oh well, booby streamer, or this streamer, or that streamer. It's like, I don't understand what's so hard to understand that video games are for everybody, right? Like it's not just a dude thing; it's for everybody. So
there's never been a developer that says this game is for this group of people. It's never happened.
Ask Ubisoft though, because apparently women don't sell.
Well, yeah, that's what that guy said, and I'm glad he got fired because I'd like to point out all the games that have sold because of women on the cover.
Last of Us Part 2, Half-Life Alyx, Tomb Raider. Like there's a bunch of badass chicks in gaming that you play as.
Yeah.
So like to try to gatekeep women out of gaming doesn't make sense to me. It's stupid.
Aren't these the same guys who would like girlfriends?
Yeah. I mean,
you would
not
think.
Anymore.
You would think.
I've met a lot more women playing Overwatch than any other game I've played, and they're more often than not, like, typically I won't hear anything mean said to them, and but there are moments I've heard where it's like, yeah, I've like a girl has said something and there's immediately a guy who says something mean back to her, like not even related to what she said, just says something mean. There have been times where, I mean, I've done something stupid and like a woman will call me out and be super mean to me, and it's like, I didn't even say anything. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Like, give me a break. But like, I've met a lot more women playing Overwatch that are typically really nice, and they will get some flack for nothing. And it's like, it's hard to tell if that's because, and typically I don't know if this is the case. It's probably not. I've seen a lot more when I've played Overwatch. I've met a lot more women that are playing support heroes. They're playing healers, and they will get a lot of extra flack for not healing properly. And it's like, I don't know if that's because they're bad healers or because this person who's yelling at them is yelling because they're a bad healer and a woman. So they think it gives them an extra like ledge up, I guess. You know what I'm saying, I guess. But like, I've met a lot of women who will say like, yeah, they just immediately get flack, or somebody will immediately ask for their phone number or their Twitter or Instagram or whatever. And it's like, I can't imagine being told that every game. Like, that just, I wouldn't play it anymore. I'd uninstall it. I'd make a complaint. I'd go onto that. I go onto the Reddit and I would bitch.
That stuff's lame, dude.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I don't get it. Especially like if you are interested in dating, I don't think that's how you attract a potential partner.
Well, so for me, people behind a keyboard and a monitor or a controller and a mic set, they're a lot different than they are in person, which doesn't excuse behavior though. But it's like, dude, I don't know. There's just no point to act that way towards anybody, especially like just another person trying to play video games just like you are. You know what I mean? Like, it's super lame behavior, and it seems like it's getting a lot better, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, how do you really see if it's getting better? How do you get that metric or statistic? You know, and then unfortunately, that whole bully hunters thing came out, and that was a big. There was like this group of was it all chicks or just a couple chicks and some dudes or whatever?
I think when I read it, it was a bunch of chicks, but I'm sure there was a couple guys involved. Yeah. There's
like a you could like hit up these people that were in the bully hunt, which we laughed at. It's like, you're not gonna just get. It's not possible. But
it's absurd.
It was a dumb thing where like you would hit up this group of people called the bully hunters, and they would essentially join a party with you, go into the same lobby as you, and play against these players
who are bullying you,
and they would whoop on them in the game and then report them. And it's like, but everyone laughed at it. Everyone's like, this is absurd and this is really stupid.
It didn't last a day. It lasted a couple hours.
Well, it's not addressing the problem.
Well, no, you're not. And it's like, the thing is that when it was said, it was like, I laughed at it when I heard about it because I was like, this is stupid.
We all changed our name into Discord. We were all like bully hunter, whatever.
Yeah, number. And then, but like when it came out, it was like, are you serious? This is like your solution to this like problem? And then it was like, obviously it wasn't, because I think that whole thing lasted 2 hours.
Not long.
Like it was less than a day where they like started this little thing. And then a couple hours later, it was done because it didn't help anybody. It was like, you have hundreds of thousands of people playing games every second of the day. you don't have enough people to hunt bullies down and get it. And honestly, a lot of those times where you're having that sort of problem, it's in a game where somebody can't join. It's a competitive game, so it's like there's 10 people in this match. They're already pre-chosen to be in here, so if like somebody leaves, you don't get someone else back in their place. You don't call in a bully hunter to join the game. So it's
unrealistic.
It's a redundant solution. It doesn't do anything. If anything, it makes it worse because people laugh at it and they go, "Oh, this is your solution? Okay, well, I'll show you how that works."
Everybody changed their name to like Bully Hunter and all that. It was. I laughed.
It was funny as the idea of it, but in terms of fixing the issue, it did nothing and actually probably made it worse.
Yeah, it made it worse.
Yeah, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like this kid who's getting picked on. So then they go get all these upperclassmen to join them in the schoolyard.
Yeah.
Like,
this army of seniors or something.
Like
that somewhat makes sense because it's in person, but it's like it's online, so it does absolutely nothing. It's like they're still behind a keyboard. And that's the thing, take those people out from there, and they won't be saying any of that. They'll be quiet. If anything, they won't say anything at all. Like, there are tons of people online. I mean, during the E3 type stuff, there's a lot of people who will give complaints on everything, but they don't know the half of it. We talked about it actually. Our last episode, we talked about the people on Cyberpunk who were giving the developers death threats because the game was delayed. These are people.
I remember that episode.
Yeah, it's like it accomplishes nothing, and I almost wanted to sit there and be like, I hope it gets delayed again, because y'all are a bunch of punks. So chill out.
Well, I mean, you guess what? They still win because even though you insulted them personally,
you gave them your money, man.
You still spent $60. You still bought the game.
Yeah, whatever.
Death threats. Jeez, can you imagine getting death threats because of your job?
People are so lame, and that's what it really, for me at least, that's what it boils down to. People are lame. Most people are lame.
It's like I'd like to be able to say you could probably stop that, but it's incredibly difficult to get people to listen to that. And it's on top of it. I mean, it's more of a thing where it's like, for instance, on Twitter, anything where it's a death threat should immediately be flagged and removed. It shouldn't be. Yeah, and it shouldn't ever be a thing of like, well, it's free speech. You're cutting down my right. It's like technically that doesn't mean you can say, I hope you get in a car accident because my game was delayed. You don't get to say that. That's not free speech. That's just being a jerk.
Just being a jerk for no reason.
Yeah. So no, that's I like that they usually take care of it, but it's still a thing where it's like the fact that a developer has to come out and say we're people just like you. Don't say death threats. The voice actors for The Last of Us got tons of crap for it. Like all the time, so
yeah,
it's not cool. That upset me personally, just because it's like these characters, they spent a long time making this game. They're very good at their job, and the fact that you thought it was okay to say, well, I didn't like your character in the game, so personally, I hope that you get hurt physically. And it's like, why? You didn't like it. You spent $60 and you didn't like it. Big whoop.
Yeah,
get over it. Go play a different game. Go play something else that you like. Go to whatever forum you're on and rant about it to all your other cronies that are going to agree with you, even though you have the wrong inflated sense of what the game is.
Right.
And then, leave it at that. Don't insult people. Don't personally threaten people because you didn't enjoy what they did. That doesn't mean you don't have the right to do that.
Yeah.
Like, what are these people doing with their lives? Why don't you go out and make something if you're that moved?
Yeah.
Just...
You do it
Laziness.
better.
Yeah, you do it better. Yeah.
And this is just reminds me of like death threats and doxing. It always amuses me. So I live in the South, and whenever I hear about people getting doxed or worried about it or threatening to go find somebody, I'm like, do you know if that household has a firearm or two? Are you really that brazen to go?
Right.
Because like pretty much every home, there is no home where I live where I would, first of all, it's not right to go try to, break into somebody's house. But I feel like I would lose that battle around where I live.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, people who do that are probably not the smartest anyways.
No, absolutely not.
No, are they, I don't know if this is confirmed, Nick, but we talked about this a while ago, but swatting is also a pretty big issue for streamers, especially.
That's what just happened.
Swatting?
Swatting.
It's where somebody who's disgruntled in a video game will find the person that they're playing against, and they will call in an anonymous thing to the police saying, like, I think there's a domestic abuse situation, or I think there's a hostage
type thing.
yeah, like I think I heard gunshots. So like SWAT will show up, they'll kick your door down, and they'll find a guy sitting at his computer playing, Super Mario Brothers or some crap like that.
So false accusations.
Yes, and it's anonymous, so they won't be able to immediately find out who said it or whatever like that. And on top of that, I believe there have been a couple instances where people have gotten shot and they've gotten killed because they're spotted. There's a guy a long time ago, he was streaming on Twitch, and he doesn't do it anymore, but he was in his office building where they all do this for a living. They all play games and record and that kind of stuff, and they stream, and they have a streaming room, and I'm watching him play Counter-Strike, and he goes, hold on. And he's really quiet. It's quiet for like 3 minutes, and he goes, I think we're getting swatted. And he hears somebody outside the door, and he takes his headphones off, puts his hands on his head, and gets down on the ground immediately.
He already knew what to do.
Yeah, he did.
That's what you do? Like, that's the proper response?
He did the proper thing, which is like, well, because other people, they might not know, and they might freak out like this, and it's going to be, that could be a little bit more dangerous. So he was pretty
death right there, yeah.
He was pretty calm about it, and he's like, I think we're getting swatted. And he took his headphones off, and he put his hands up, and they came to the door. I watched 6 different cops walk in the door and like look at him, and literally we had the stream going the entire time. He didn't cut the stream, so we were able to watch them talk. We were able to hear everything that was going on. And he explained, he was like, no, man, he's like, this is our office. We play video games for a living. I promise you there's nothing bad going on here. You can check every office. You can check literally everywhere. You're not going to find a firearm. You're not going to find any sort of abuse or any person, that's hurt. And it's like, he was a nice guy. He like, is just like, you're just mad about something. You're so mad that you feel the need to potentially harm someone's life and make it also not only that, but make it so somebody else is doing that. You know what I mean?
It's insanity.
And when you think about how many people are actually in domestic abuse situations, that enrages me. No, I mean, of course, the police are going to respond no matter what, but you're making light of a very, very serious issue. That's not funny. That's not cool. And I hope that these people are never in that.
Oh, they get caught. They get caught a lot of the times. So when they get caught, it's prison time now. So it's a federal offense to swat somebody.
I mean, you're using tax-funded resources, wasting time.
Yep. Those are their biggest reasonings. So
walk away for an
when
hour.
other people need their help, you're using precious resources that could be helping other people.
Walk away for an hour and think about what you're going to do first before you do it. Don't just, because then it's like you're in that mindset where it's like, oh, I'm mad. This is what they did. I didn't like it. I'm going to, make myself feel better. And it's like, okay. And then an hour later, you hear on the news that the guy you swatted got shot. Right. And he died. And it's like, so how do you feel now? Because guess what? They're going to find you. And they're going to charge you not only with swatting, but they're going to charge you with, like, I don't know what that specific charge is.
Involuntary manslaughter and all that.
They're going to charge you for that. And it's going to be like, yeah, man, because you got mad because some dude in Overwatch didn't heal you properly. So now that guy is gone, and now you're going to prison. So, like, think about that before you make that decision.
I don't know if social media has amplified that, because before social media, if you were ranting about this, no one was really listening to you. But now on social media, you can get likes, you can find an echo chamber.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, oh, get rid of social media. No, because there are a lot of benefits. It's like anything. Like, what are you going to
give and take? Yeah.
Oh God. Thank you for informing me of that. Maybe
no
I hope I don't anger anybody on the podcast. I do. Come on over to my house. Come on.
I think you'll be just fine.
I have some cops in my neighborhood. Come on over.
Yeah.
So we're going to take it to a positive. We're going to something a little bit more uplifting. Y'all ready for that? Or is there?
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay. I want to know, what is your favorite video game soundtrack? Is there one that you like to just put on in the background?
Mine right now is Death Stranding. That was a very super cool ambient soundtrack. A lot of different artists are on it. Low Roar, who is a main part of the album's awesome. Like, there's moments in that game where you'll be walking into like a huge area and it just this musical hit and the camera will pan out and it's just this gorgeous experience. Right now it's definitely Death Stranding and Doom. any Doom soundtrack is always top tier for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I liked the Death Stranding soundtrack a lot. I actually put a couple of Low Roar's songs on my liked list on Spotify. I really enjoyed a lot of his stuff. It's very calming and it's nice just to listen to. If I had to pick other than that, I like certain the Far Cry games do a pretty good job, I think, at picking soundtracks for where they're at. I don't remember the soundtracks for Far Cry 4 or 3, but Far Cry 5 took place in Montana, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a lot of radio stations that had a lot of rock music and stuff like that. So I've taken that from time to time, and I like a little bit more of like this simple string type stuff. Mass Effect has a lot of orchestral type of arrangements. I like those. They have a good sense of lifting up the importance of where you're at. And The Last of Us 2 has a really good soundtrack, I'd say, too. Not only just simple string, like guitar stuff, but there's a couple songs in there that are played by the characters that I really enjoy, which are technically a part of the game soundtrack, but they're actual songs like Take On Me and Future Days by Pearl Jam.
Oh,
so
wow.
I hear about the other songs through, the games themselves, and then I make them into a playlist or whatever, and then that becomes a soundtrack in itself, I guess.
You making your own
That's
mixtapes,
awesome.
boy?
Maybe I am.
Oh, I remember mixtapes and
Oh yeah,
guys
good old
giving
days.
me CDs with The Cure and
Yeah.
gosh, what's that band in Cruel Intentions? Placebo? Yeah. Good times.
Give me 2 seconds. I think I hear a knock on my door upstairs.
Yeah, sure.
I'm so sorry.
I will bother Evan.
Yeah, no problem.
So what are you studying in school, Evan? Would you like to share that?
Sure. Currently I'm going to community college right now. I think my main degree that I'm chasing is an associate's in arts with a concentration in music.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's going to be a 2-year thing. And then if all goes well, I was actually going to probably try and transfer to Berklee College of Music in Boston.
Awesome.
Yeah. And go there. I think there's a degree there that's called a concentration in guitar performance, I think is what it's called. And then also to learn how to record and produce and properly do all that kind of stuff. Because as I've seen from both people that I've met and also like just know, I think in sort of just basic knowledge is that degree in guitar performance does not guarantee a job. So not only that, but to know how to do all the extra stuff, I think is a little bit of a better idea, just because that way I can say I am good at what I play, but I also can make music for you and produce and that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Is there a certain genre you like to play?
Blues.
Blues?
Blues and like a little bit. I wouldn't say pop is a right term. I like John Mayer a lot, so whatever. People consider that blues and like a little bit more poppy, but I'd say it's just somebody being really good at their instrument. So yeah, blues. I like sort of classic rock type stuff, but mainly like Buddy Guy, B.B. King, Muddy Waters, a lot of the older blues musicians I really like. Yeah, I bore Nick and the other guys to death with it half the time.
You don't bore us, man. But sometimes he'll be like this and that, and he'll be shredding on his guitar, and I'm like,
I have it right here. Yeah,
cool, man. I don't like it, when he plays. It's cool because it's like I've watched him kind of when he first started.
I think you knew me, but I don't think I played in front of everyone because I was terrible.
But then,
as I should be.
Watch him play now. It's like, oh, this is awesome. Like one of like my best friends.
Yeah.
Is like getting into like his passion to like the fullest extent. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I didn't take lessons or anything, so it's all self-taught stuff. And Matt got a guitar now, and he's gonna learn how to play and stuff like that. Which I don't remember if he asked me how to help him, but I could show you maybe 2 things and be like, yeah, I know that. And then it's like anything else you ask, it's just more of knowledge I have, not like I could teach it to you. But I really like playing guitar, and I'd like to learn how to play piano and bass as well.
Do you think you'd like to travel and perform?
Yeah, I would definitely travel and perform. Not necessarily as part of not me as a solo actor or anything like that, but like as a backing person or just another guitarist in a band. I think I'd be really good at that. Yeah.
You probably really enjoy like Tennessee and Mississippi for blues music, stuff like that.
Yeah, I can listen to some sort of. I wouldn't say I like Chris Stapleton, but I don't consider him, in my personal opinion, I don't consider him a country artist. I see him more as a soul singer. He's just got a voice for that. But no, my dad wants to go to Tennessee anyway because he likes Jack Daniels a lot, so he wants to go see the distillery and stuff like that.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so that would be a good trip.
It's beautiful over there. You guys could go to Dollywood, which is a milder form of Disney World.
That'd be cool.
It's really fun, yeah. Well, Nick, we were talking about what Evan is majoring in, and you had said you were in a band. Do you want to tell people or you were in a band? Do you want to talk about any kind of music you like to listen to, or do you still play any instruments?
Yeah, so I listen to a lot of different styles of music. I mean, if you look behind me, there's my shelf with a lot of records on it. I love hip hop, like anything experimental. Like one of my favorite groups they're called Death Grips. Super loud, noisy, experimental hip hop. I don't play any instruments. I was a vocalist in the band, and that was 5 years ago. I'm far too fat and old for that now. Oh. No, it was just a fun time that I had way back when. And, it's just not feasible with a child to be touring or anything like that anymore. So, well, for me at least, I know a lot of dudes who still are able to do it, but for me, I couldn't be on the road and not be near my son and fiance and all that. So,
what would you guys say is your favorite concert you've ever been to?
I know his.
I've only been to 2. It's not an easy pick. My first concert, I went and saw Paul McCartney.
Wow.
So yeah, that's definitely the only other concert I've been to. I saw Kenny Wayne Shepherd and Buddy Guy. Paul McCartney was really good. He played for 3 hours straight, no breaks. Wow. So yeah, he was fantastic.
Killing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of good stories.
When I was younger, I don't know who else would know. You might. Ozfest.
I remember Ozfest.
Back when
yes.
Ozfest was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going with a buddy of mine's father and him, and Marilyn Manson was up on stage, and this is during like the Antichrist Superstar era. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing that. And I was like, "That's what I like." I remember looking up and like, "Oh, that's like the rock god right now," and he still is. I mean, just watching him perform and all his antics on stage. I mean, when I walked up to the stage, he was at a podium, and it's obviously controversial. Back then, I think it was more so him ripping up the Bible and doing all this outlandish stuff on stage. And I was like, you can do that? Like, back then, I think I was like 11, 10. I was like, you're allowed to do that kind of stuff? I was like, cool, right? Like, it was insanity. Definitely Marilyn Manson at Ozfest when I was younger was one of the pinnacles of like concerts for me.
I can't wait till we can all go back to concerts.
Eventually, here's hoping.
I'm hoping.
Oh my gosh, we like to go to New Orleans for concerts whenever we can.
Oh, nice. My dad's been there a couple times. I've never been.
It's nice, yeah. Don't come in the summertime, please, because I don't want you guys to melt. It feels like Satan's butthole. To put it nicely.
Sounds like Detroit on a hot day.
Oh, really? It's bad.
It can be.
Michigan it's like really muggy up here. Like super like wet in the air plus the heat, or like when it gets too dry, it sucks. I hate it.
Are you guys dealing with snow right now?
It's not yet, fortunately.
Oh, it's gonna come.
Oh, I know. I think this week we're about to get snowed in on, so which I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh, you have to shovel out your driveways?
Yep. Evan don't.
I do.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't know if you and your dad have that worked out where it's like you'll do it or not.
No, it's typically my brother and I'll do it. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, no, I hate it. To anyone who's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see the snow," I'm like, you can wait a little longer because I guarantee once if you were to live in Michigan, you'd be like, dude, no, like this white stuff on the ground needs to leave.
Yeah, no. Because
everyone loses their mind, doesn't know how to drive. It's so annoying.
Wow, we don't deal with snow down here, so I think so I've been in a snowy area in Tennessee once, and I stayed outside for about 5 minutes, and I was like, "Yep, I'm over this."
Oh, it sucks. Miserable. I hate it.
It can be pretty. It can be really nice and it can look good, but it's good from the insides of your house looking out. It's not when you're out there and you're walking around, it's like, oh my God, it's cold, it's snowing, I'm slipping everywhere I walk. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go back inside and have some hot chocolate.
The only time I like it is when I'm looking outside on Christmas and it's actually snowy.
Yeah.
Aww.
Like that's cool. Like that's all right, cool. Like because I spent a Christmas in Florida once and I was like, this sucks. I was like, what is this? It's another day.
Alligators everywhere with Santa Claus
to begin with. So
yeah.
Oh my gosh, the holiday season's already here. Do you guys decorate for the holidays?
I don't know if you do.
I will be today after we're done with this interview. Actually, I'll be going outside to put some decorations up because the fiance asked me to, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, dude. I was like, I guess I'll do it.
Aw, that's so sweet. But please, if you have lights and decorations, I would love to see them. I'm into all that.
I'll probably post a photo on my personal Twitter. Oh yeah.
Yeah. We don't decorate outside as far as I know. I don't think we do. I don't remember. But we do decorate just inside. We decorate the tree. We have a tree downstairs that we just put up every year. So we got ornaments and we got like lights that we wrap around it, and that's about it. We don't do much else other than that, though. We have a lot of those hue lights, those colored lights. Mm-hmm. So we'll change those for a lot of the time. We'll change them to like red and green and blue and that kind of stuff, like, you know, Christmassy type stuff like that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I do like this time of year. It gives me hope after everything going on in 2020. Oh, yeah. This is a hot take, and you guys alluded to this a little bit earlier, saying that it would be hard to convey a video game as a movie. Y'all were giving some examples, but if there is a video game series you would actually like to see as a movie, can you share that?
Yeah, I would like to actually see them make a good Doom movie. I don't know how
that's your pick?
Dude, yeah, Doomslayer fighting through a horde of demons and like actually going through hell on Mars. Like,
what do you mean? The original was fine. It had The Rock and Carl Urban.
That movie sucked, man. There was no reason for it to go into the first person mode. Like when they did that, I was like, "What is this?" It felt like that. What was that one movie? You know what I'm talking about?
Hardcore Henry.
I watched it and I was like, dude, it's giving me a headache.
I couldn't. I never even saw it. I just I looked at it. I was
Cloverfield?
Not like found footage. It's like an actual. It's like a GoPro. It's
literally like a GoPro where you're just watching those dudes.
You're seeing his hands and you're seeing him like fight people and stuff like that. I remember my buddy Will. He was like, "That's the greatest movie of all time." I was like, "You're out of your mind." I was like, "Have you ever seen?"
I was out of his mind when he watched it.
I was gonna ask him. I was like, "Have you ever seen any other movie ever?" I was like, Toy Story is better than that, like by far. And Toy Story is a good movie. But if I had to pick a movie, I'd say one of the BioShocks.
That'd be good.
I'd say BioShock. Well, technically BioShock 1 and 2 could be made as one just because it's the same area, but like BioShock Infinite for like Columbia, I think that'd be pretty sweet to see that. I don't know. I can't really think of another. I mean, I'm looking at other games I have in my library, but they're all made to some degree. Like Mafia's, you know, you can find a lot of those types of movies, like Middle Earth, that's Lord of the Rings. I think Death Stranding as a movie would be too difficult for some people to grasp.
It's already a movie. If you play the game, it's basically like a movie.
Yeah. So I could see that. Maybe a Borderlands movie would be kind of neat too, because that's not really like decisions you make. It's just, you know, you're following along these 4 characters. I think that'd be cool.
Half-Life would be sweet in the perspective of like
somebody else
of a survivor, not like
Gordon,
but like as a resistance member, like, you know, perspective of the resistance, and then all of a sudden like you see a glimpse of Gordon, or you see Gordon in a scene like that would be cool to me. But like going like too hard into it where it's like the movie's about Gordon, well, that'd be impossible because he doesn't speak. You know what I mean? Like, so it would be cool to see something Half-Life related in the perspective of like the resistance, or you know, back at Black Mesa security guard and all that.
That'd I could see that. I just actually kind of had a add on to that question, but like, what game would you not want to see as a movie, Nick?
Half-Life. in the perspective of Gordon. No.
Why did I ask? I knew the answer.
I don't want to see another Super Mario movie.
And they're working on one.
They made a movie of that?
Right now they are?
Wait.
You didn't know that?
They're working on one right now. Wait, Evan. So you're a little bit younger than us, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bit, yeah.
Okay, so you don't remember when the Super Mario Brothers movie?
It was a big deal when it came out.
I might not. When did it come out?
Oh, the 90s.
Oh yeah, I wasn't around. I was born in 2000. I was not around for that. Yeah.
Well, that's easy to remember your age.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
You don't have to do any math.
It was a good deal.
It was a bomb, dude. It wasn't good.
It wasn't good?
No.
Oh, wow.
It was, Nick, how about you let him watch it one day? Why don't you watch it and do an episode?
Yeah, we'll watch it. You and I will do one of our episodes.
That'll be a Beyond episode, yeah.
Technically, it wouldn't be a Beyond episode. It's part of one of our questions, actually.
We do it live.
Yes, it's the next question.
We do it live. We watch the movie live and record it. We record my reactions.
If we do that, I'm getting drunk though. That's the thing, because I'm not watching it sober.
I couldn't. How long is it?
Oh, it's
like
an hour and a half.
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, then I could probably stomach it, but I would be done within the first 10.
I don't think Zelda would be a good franchise as well. Even though I know there's supposedly that's coming up too.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to portray Link as another character where he's a silent protagonist? And we've seen Link speak in the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, "Excuse me," and it's like, "No, dude, you ruined that for me." If they were to do a Zelda series or movie, I think the best plot to start with would be Majora's Mask, though. Just super dark, gritty, just insanity. But yeah, I don't know.
See, here's my issue: is that the two games I don't want to be seen made as a movie or TV show are being made as a movie and a TV show right now.
What?
Last of Us.
They're making Uncharted, which I'm not about.
Oh, what's his name? Is young
Tom Holland.
Yes.
And Mark Wahlberg is going to be Sully, which I don't understand.
What? He's too fit to be Sully.
That's what I said. I was like, he's too jacked. Have you seen him in painting games? That wouldn't make sense.
Max Payne.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't even think about that. But no, like I didn't. Tom Holland for me just isn't a good fit physically. I get they're trying to make a young Nate, but like he doesn't look grizzled. Like he doesn't look like Nate. Not that he's like this like mountain man look or whatever, but he always looks like he just got out of a bar fight, fell through like a temple, and like he's already like he always looks that way. So like I just don't see it fitting. And then they just greenlit the Last of Us TV series, which I was like, they have good people behind it. I'll give them that, but they said they're adding on stuff to the first game, and it's like you can't replace Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, and you can't make like. I just don't see it. It doesn't work for me.
We'll see what happens.
I'm not confident.
Gears of War is coming out too as a movie. I don't know if you guys knew about that.
What?
But like that's gonna be like Tonka dudes, man. Like their legs are like this big, and that like they better figure something cool out for that.
Well,
so
I'm not hyped.
They are doing a Resident Evil. I think it's a Netflix series.
Yep.
Yeah, that's animated. Yeah. I've heard they do.
They're doing.
Oh, it's live action, huh?
Oh, is it live action? I thought it was maybe it's some. Oh no, the Splinter Cell one they're doing is animated.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I got confused. No, I've heard those are not like the movies I've heard aren't that great. Like with
for Resident Evil.
Yeah, I've heard they're not. I think I've seen the first one's good. I don't remember which one I saw, but I didn't like it. I've heard the animated stuff they do though is pretty decent.
Oh yeah, the CGI stuff.
Yeah, I think
they actually keep the characters.
Oh yeah, like if they have Leon in it, I'll definitely watch it. I love Leon Kennedy. He's a great character.
Oh gosh, have you ever played the original Resident Evil 2 with Leon?
I did not play. I did not play the original. I played the remake, the one that came out a couple years ago. That was pretty good.
Man, have you ever looked up footage to compare the two?
I looked up actually a comparison picture. I've seen the mechanics and that difference, but I've also seen the picture comparison between Leon back then and Leon in the new one, and I was like, wow, just the level of detail.
And I'll tell you, that was my first Resident Evil on the Nintendo 64, and it scared the bejesus out of me. And now I look back with their Claire.
Yeah.
Reaching. I mean, those are just the limitations of the day. But at the time, back in my day, that was something else. But the remake is badass.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I loved it. I played through it. I think I streamed my playthrough of that for a good bit.
I thought
because it was my first time playing the second one. I played I played the second one when I was like a kid. I was like 5 or 6, and I remember I couldn't even figure out how to get past the first part just because I was confused. I'd never played a game like it before, so I was confused on what to do. So playing through it for the first time, actually, and with all the updated looks and stuff like that, I figured why not stream it? And it was amazing because it felt a lot more scary in the beginning half of it, where it's like, yeah, the puzzles and like, you know, you got to be careful about where you walk. I love the ambient like sound and like the 3D audio. So like if I heard a licker from my right, I'd hear him to my right, and I would actually like freeze up and stop. There were plenty of moments where I would have jump scares on stream, which I thought was pretty neat. And then I played 3, and 3 was 3 was good, but it wasn't as good just because it felt fast. It was like 5 hours. It took me 5 hours to finish it.
Yeah.
The remake?
Yeah, the remake. It was cool and all, but it was a lot more action and shootery. It wasn't a lot of like puzzles and, you know, I didn't have Mr. X chasing me around, so that kind of diminished it for me because I loved that in the remake. It was so much fun. Like shooting his hat off was funny.
Well, now you have to play the remake of the first one if you want that ambiance.
I do. Yeah, I haven't played that yet. I've actually
That's great.
Oh, remake of the first one is astounding.
I've been playing the 7th one. I played the 7th one yesterday. And, not gonna lie, I've played that. I finished it. I got through the entire game, and I was playing it yesterday, and I just stopped. I was like, you know what? No, I'm scared. I don't want to do this.
Well, that's just how we are in Louisiana. That's an accurate depiction of it.
Is it? Okay.
No.
I'm not going there.
You know what I was just thinking about?
What?
We were talking about movies, kind of. Well, like literally 2 seconds ago. Dark Souls would kind of be sick. Like anything Dark Souls, Demon Souls, anything like that would be sweet.
The live action or animated?
Both. It'd be cool to see a live action version, but I think an anime gives it more room to do whatever it needs to do. Different pathways. That was just a quick thought.
I never played them.
Oh, because Castlevania has an awesome anime.
Yes, it does.
On Netflix. So it got really dark on that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wind down for bed. Let me put on Castlevania.
Oh yeah, no, that's not gonna work out too well.
No, but that was interesting. Well, so is there anything else you guys would like to talk about before I ask about the future plans for the show?
No, I think I'm all good. So
Yeah,
far,
I'm okay, yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys have been alluding to extra episodes on Twitter. So what are some of the future plans for the WASD and Beyond podcast?
Yep. So we just recently started, well, we launched it, but it'll be WASD Hot Fix episodes, which are just 30-minute episodes, like short, sweet, to the point. Pretty much extra banter, or it's going to be like straight up just news really quick, and then it'll be over with. We still have the WASD and Beyond Proper series, which is obviously released every Friday. We're going to try to release hot fixes every week. We don't know what date yet or what day we're going to do it, but eventually, Evan and I were trying to do WASD reviews, where it'll be mainly on film. So we'll just be talking about movies that we watched or that we've enjoyed, that new movies. So we're going to try to do stuff like that. I think eventually we're going to try to do a combined podcast with a lot of our Discord server, because there's a lot of character. It's going to be really difficult, but there's a lot of characters on our server that I think content-wise it's too rich not to show everybody. So eventually that'd be like a nice avenue for us to go down, but we're going to try to see how Hot Fix works on top of the Beyond episodes, which are usually like, Beyond is just whatever else we wanted to discuss that's not video game related, realistically. So yeah, reviews on movies, it could be music that we like, and hot fixes right now. And there's other stuff we're planning or trying to figure out logistics of. So
yeah, we should add on to the review stuff. We should add in TV shows.
TV shows,
just
thank
like
you, Evan.
like not as specific episodes, but maybe season wise. Like if we watch a season of something, Nick, if you watch The West Wing, we could maybe do that.
I know.
I've been bugging him for weeks to watch that show, and he has not listened to me. I'm getting very upset.
No, I need to. I know I need to.
Even John watched it.
There are so many shows.
Yeah.
There is so much media for us to consume.
Oh yeah, which is good for content creators like you, ourselves, and everybody at Boss Rush, because it's easy at that point to consume and regurgitate. I guess it's a pretty gross way of thinking about it,
Yeah,
but I mean, for real though, I mean, you get so much, you're able to take in what you can and try to get it out as fast, not as fast, but in a timely manner. That's why we're trying to stick with the Cyberpunk episodes right now, because it's about to release. So, well, hopefully.
It is. Stop.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
going to come out.
I know.
Stop saying it's not.
Just another week and a half.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. I think it's
Thankfully.
12 days, 12 or 11 days now.
Wow.
Still too long. Just release it now, please.
Yeah, we know it's ready.
Yeah.
Well, guys, is there anything else you'd like to say for listeners that you'd like them to know that we didn't touch on that you'd like to bring up?
I don't know, do you have anything?
Not necessarily. I think we pretty much brought it all up. Yeah, that's it. For me, at least.
I don't have anything. Yeah, I'm all set.
Well, thank you guys so much for making time on a Sunday afternoon to talk about your show, to talk about yourselves, and have just fun discussion. I love these. I love just getting to meet people and kind of pulling the curtain and hanging out.
Oh, yeah, this is a great time. Thanks for
thank you.
having us.
Oh, anytime. And now we're going to have this listed in the show episode and on the website, but where can people find you?
Yep.
Take it away, Nick.
Yeah, you can find WASD on Twitter, on Instagram. Just search for WASD and Beyond. It will pop up. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, a bunch of wherever you can hear a podcast, we're on there. Just search the name, you'll see us. You'll see the nice blue WASD and Beyond logo. Myself, if you're interested in following me on Instagram or Twitter, you can find me at flies.avi. Sometimes I stream on Twitch. You can find my streams at Chub Life Nick. Evan, you stream as well.
Yeah, I don't have any social media, so I don't have any Twitter or Instagram for anyone to follow, but I do stream from time to time. My Twitch is EV0N1. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to play The Last of Us. It's not going to go well. So if you want to tune into that, that'll be a
hoot and a holler. Cry. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I teared up when I was streaming it the other day. I couldn't help it.
Well, thank you guys again so much. Listeners, you can find us at pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. Boss Rush Games. You can find us at bossrushgames.com. You can find us on Twitter at Boss Rush Podcast. Until next time, we'll see you later. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks.